We interrupt KBOO's special membership drive programming for this important announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
We just have a few more minutes, and I wanted you to touch on the Obama administration's role in intervention in Venezuela and Latin America.
Yeah, I mean, to the dismay of many, not to me, but I mean, to a lot of people were, seduced by the image and the product of Barack Obama that was sold during his campaign. And throughout Latin America, a lot of people thought there would be changes. And, things have gotten worse, if we want to call that a change. What we've seen since Obama took office has been an expansion of U.S. military presence in the region, a very growing presence in military bases in Colombia, in Panama, throughout the Caribbean. We've seen two coups take place since Obama took power. One failed, which was in the case of Ecuador just last year. And we've seen an increase in funding going to different groups, not just in the case of Venezuela, but also, throughout the region in other countries, and an increase in the hostile language. It's not just the Obama administration, but the U.S. government as a whole, that there have been attempts now and that are still active to try to place, for example, Venezuela on the list of state sponsors of terror, which is absolutely absurd, but really scary and dangerous. And in Obama's 2012 proposed federal budget, he includes a request of $5 million to fund anti-Chavez groups in Venezuela, which is absolutely outrageous, considering he's putting a freeze on public spending. And then he wants to send more U.S. taxpayer dollars via the State Department to fund groups that are trying to destabilize a democratic government. So we've seen, the contrary take place. Instead of an improvement after Bush in terms of foreign policy towards Latin America, Obama is worsening the situation and repeating a lot of the same steps that were made before, talking about we need to regain U.S. influence in Latin America. I mean, trying to, in a moment when Latin American nations are liberating themselves in their 200-year anniversary of independence, continuing in that same path and going through processes of change that are dignifying the peoples and giving them a stronger voice. The Obama administration is trying to treat Latin America again like its backyard and try to get it under its grasp. And it's not going to happen, but it's a sad situation. I think people in the U.S. need to know that that's what's going on.
And we have only just had time to scratch the surface. If folks want to hear more, we really encourage them to show up at the First Unitarian Church tonight at 7 p.m. to hear your presentation there. But if they can't make it, I know you have an excellent website, so can you tell folks about your website and other sources that they can look at?
Well, my blog, which is www.chavezcode.com, and I also run a newspaper in English out of Venezuela. It's the Correo del Orinoco International. But you can find the link on chavezcode.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at Eva Golinger.
Great. And are there any last things that you would like to share with our listening audience before we say goodbye?
Well, I think it's important that people in the United States know, what their government is doing beyond the borders, and also to understand that, a lot of what you see in media, not just in mainstream media, but also in a lot of the alternative media, unfortunately in the U.S., when it comes to Latin America, is oftentimes distorted, and that the interests and what I refer to as the empire's web expands far and wide and goes to places that you wouldn't even imagine. So if people can come, I'd recommend, because it's going to be really interesting tonight to talk about all this.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us on KBOO Radio, Eva Golinger. And I'm just going to give a little word to our friend Megan Heiss here from PCASC.
I just really want to say thank you to KBOO for opening up this space to community organizations like PCASC. PCASC loves KBOO, and we're really happy to participate today in the membership drive. Thanks, KBOO.